Studio. We are in West Point today, broadcasting live, getting you set for Prairie Arts Festival and also talking all things good that are happening in and around this part of the state of Mississippi. And with that, we welcome John Turner to the conversation. He's the Director of Marketing and Public Relations for 4County. That is the electric cooperative that serves 9 counties in this part of the state of Mississippi.
That's right, Richard.
I took notes in my head. Did I get that right?
That is exactly right.
Very good. I feel like electricity is one of those things that you really don't think about until you need it. Kind of like a lawyer. Like, lawyers just do their thing. And they're like, oh, lawyers, and then all the lawyer jokes. And then you need an attorney, and all of a sudden lawyers are really, really important. Electricity feels like one of those things that we almost take for granted until it's not there.
That's right. And so, our job is to make you not think about it because we want it to be as stress-free as possible. So we work very hard to be as reliable and service-oriented as we can so that you can live your life, use all the power that you want, and it's there when you need it. And it's only very rarely that it's off and then you think about it,
With big power companies in cities, sometimes those are like just tip of the tongue in terms of names, but I feel like electric power cooperatives fly under the radar a little bit, and yet the role that cooperatives play for rural Mississippi, we're obviously a rural state, so very important.
And that's true, and that's in our DNA because, almost 100 years ago is when we got started because no one would bring electricity out to the rural areas of Mississippi. So across the state, 26 co-ops were formed, at various times during the 30s to do exactly that. So folks living in our original 4 counties of Lowndes, Octibbeha, Noxubee, and Clay all got together, put their money in to try to raise the funds to bring electricity. And so we did that. And then over the last 80 years, we've been sort of refining our business model and upping our game. And we've recently done that same thing with broadband.
Yeah. And let's get into the broadband in just a second. I want to ask you a question that if you're listening right now, there's a really good chance you're going to be like, Richard, that's dumb. How do you not know the answer to that? But I was always told that if you're sitting in class and you got a question, ask it because there's a good chance that somebody else has that as well. How does electricity get to the outlet, right? I mean, you plug your phone charger into the wall, and then you plug it into your phone, and your phone charges. You flip the light switch, and the lights come on. What is the process for getting electricity in a usable form to our houses, to our businesses?
Well, the short answer to that is magic.
Okay, that's good enough. The stork just flies over and drops in the electricity.
The little longer, think about it like a hose, like water pressure. It is created at a generator, whether that's nuclear, coal, gas, whatever that may be, renewable resources. And then it is pushed at a very high voltage across the big transmission line. So when you see those big power lines and the big metal girders, and poles holding them up, and then it comes to local distributors like us where we step down a substation. We've got 26 substations around our area. So we take it at that very high voltage. We knock it down to a smaller voltage. Then we send it out to all of our end users, your house, my house, the businesses. And, it goes through a smaller transformer on your pole, that thing that looks like a little garbage can sitting up there, those green boxes that sit on the ground when it's underground. And then that gets stepped down to 110 volts or 220 to go into your house. And then it's all basically pressure. You're pushing those electrons through the wire with voltage, and it comes in, and then we just regulate what voltage that is, and then you plug into that stream, and you charge your phone and watch your TV.
So like you said, it's magic.
Exactly.
It really is. And you fall under the TVA umbrella, Tennessee Valley Authority. I think most people are at least familiar with what TVA is, but that's the mega producer for an entire region of the country, right?
That's right. 7 states, the entire state of Tennessee, North Alabama, North Mississippi, a little bit of North Georgia, Southwest Kentucky, all, and a little bit of North Carolina, I guess, get their power from TVA. So, yes, they're one of the largest power producers in the country.
Is that exclusive to cooperatives and rural providers, or does their power also go to some of the big city providers also?
It does go to the big city. So you have either rural cooperatives or like West Point Power Starkville Electric, the larger municipalities also have their own electric system, but they also get their power from TVA.
Yeah. We're visiting with John Turner, who is Director of Marketing and Public Relations for 4County. That's the electric cooperative for this part of the state of Mississippi. They actually serve 9 counties, and electric cooperatives in 4County in particular had a little bit of a new line of business that came on a few years ago. For some, it was unexpected. For some, maybe it was planned for, but that is broadband, internet distribution. And again, something that we take for granted that a decade ago was, whether it was dial-up or really slow speeds, but now everywhere we go, it's absolutely essential.
Well, and you hit
and essential in our homes.
That's right. And you really, that is exactly the point, is that I don't think any of us truly realized how important it was until, we always want to say pre-COVID, post-COVID, but COVID really, when people had to work from home and go to school, it really sort of laid open the fact that you needed a reliable, strong, affordable connection to the internet. It just, life was like that. Just like power right now, you can't imagine not having power. Well, it's almost, internet is almost a given now, and that just wasn't available. So 4 years ago, we got into the broadband business with several of our other of our sister co-ops around the state. And, man, I tell you what, we went from absolutely nothing. In fact, we hooked up our first customers in Clay County. Clay County was the first place we started 4 years ago in December. And now we have 18,000 plus customers. It's crazy.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And there's a demand there that continues to grow. And if you live out we'll use a good Mississippi term, out in the sticks, out in the boonies, you had concern, right, about, okay, am I ever going to get internet? I mean, for the longest time it was, can I get a cell signal? Well, mostly that has been covered, and now it's, how do I get internet? And not just how do I get internet, but how do I get fast internet? Because I want to be able to stream movies. I want to go to, a streaming television provider. I want to run the security system on my house through the internet. All of the things.
You want to play NCAA 25?
You want to play video games that are streaming. But I live 17 miles from town. They're never going to get to me, and yet that's almost I don't want to say that's the niche, but to me that's the most important part of what 4County and what the other cooperatives have done. They have made it available to everyone.
Yep. And really what that means to Mississippi is now people can choose to live here anywhere they want, where it's affordable, where you can buy some land and build a house, move your family there, and now you are not restricted in anything you can do. You can work from home. You can work for a bank in Germany and live in Belzoni, or Phoebe. And that's incredible. I mean, really, it's incredible. You can choose. People can now stay and live in Mississippi anywhere they want to, pretty much. And it's they will have as good an internet as if they lived in the middle of New York City or Chicago or anywhere else.
And in some cases, better internet than exists in those places. This is not an insignificant investment, though, right? I mean, there's a lot of cost in the infrastructure. And it takes some time to get it everywhere. Do you see this continuing to grow for 4County?
Yeah, so one of the interesting things about us is we have a dedicated service territory for our electric company. We can't move outside of that dedicated area. Sort of the same thing with broadband, but we have been moving to some of those areas, some of the cities that we don't serve. They don't have it, like West Point, Macon, some of those places we moved to. There may be some other opportunities for us, but heck, right now we're just worried about finishing our build out and getting the best ag service we can to the folks that we've got.
Yeah.
Right?
How competitive is that marketplace?
It's pretty competitive, and it's interesting because we're a not-for-profit, so we've never really lived in that world.
Yeah.
And now we're competing against folks like, national folks.
Yeah. Absolutely. And one of the beauties of the cooperatives is they are member-owned. So if you are a customer, you are a part owner in the cooperative, right?
That's exactly right. And our end goal is to, be successful on the for-profit broadband side so that we can bring that money back to the nonprofit side, keep rates low.
Fantastic. John Turner with 4County visiting with us here in West Point. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Richard.
More Gallo Show right after this.